Hey YouTube, real quick, this is from the Warchest Team League. All these games and all these matches with me casting with other casters is available on the Starcraft YouTube channel officially. We're covering some of these matches through replays though here on Base Trade TV. I'm going to be going up against Pig's team, which consists of Special, Serral, Armani, and Dream in these replays. And my team is going to consist of Lambo, Rogue, Clem, and Dear. There are possibly 5 games going to get played. 4 matches are played no matter what the score is. And let's just hop into it. So welcome to the first match in the first cast for this Team League series. Now this is gonna be a little bit weird for me to do because obviously I already know the results and we're just kind of redoing this for people to watch over here on our side of things. But I thought this was a really fun series, and honestly I'll try my best to cast this spoiler free. Just know that you're in for a treat. None of these games are a letdown. So with that being said, starting here to the top left side of the map, representing the team Warpigs led by Pig, we have the Pink Terran Special. And his opponent to the bottom right is on my team, which is called Call an Ambulance, but not for us. It's Lambo. And in the original casts for these matches, all the casters who are the captains have to cast together. So I originally cast this with Pig. And I actually brought Tempo on to be my hype man for every single intro, which was a lot of fun. Again, you'll have to check those out over on the Starcraft YouTube channel officially. Wardy's been running all this stuff behind the scenes. It's been so fun to be involved with. I have, as you guys know, been casting Starcraft for years, and I need to fix that really quick. I'm slipping and sliding. And I've never seen best of ones look this good since the days of like Shoutcraft. It's been unreal. It's been super fun. Now, Lambo's a really smart and good player, and he's one of the guys on my team I trust implicitly. I don't think he's going to win every matchup I ever send him out for, but this guy is so good at calling shots and predicting which players are going to be on which maps. And for this format, we had to blind pick submit our team roster according to which maps were out. So we knew Death War was going to be first, and it was a question of which player would Pig send. And I think there was a pretty good toss-up between Serral and Special. Lambo was very happy to try and eat that bullet because Lambo's actually somebody who has taken games off of Serral. However, that didn't quite work out so perfectly, and we ended up fighting against Special here. No problems, no regrets though, because like I said, this whole series, like all the players, this is such a stacked roster on both sides. But I'll give you guys the rundown really quick. So all the matchups that are going to be happening are Special versus Lambo, obviously here in game 1. The next video is going to be of Serral versus Rogue in game 2. The third video will be Armani versus Clem in game 3 and Dream versus Dear in game 4. And if this goes to game 5 for the ace match, we'll let you know in the 4th video. For now though, enjoy the attempt at spoiler free. Lambo gonna hide the drone a little bit. Otherwise the Reaper might have caused a bit of chaos. As soon as he sees that Reaper come in, the Lings will go to work to guard. And that drone should pretty happy and comfortably be able to take the third. Honestly, everything out of this is so standard and nothing here is abnormal, and that itself is strange because if you're a big fan of Special, you know this is a man who likes to do 2 racks. This is a man who likes to get really aggressive, and I think if this was a best of 3, we would have probably seen that, if not in game 1, game 2 of the series. But being the fact that this, I know the score says best of 5, these individual matches are best of 1s, it really changes your strategy, and it is so wild watching Special play more standard than not. Lambo's also going for that faster overlord speed, something we've been seeing trend out of all Zergs, top and bottom right now. And I think this is a lot to do with the new map design and some of these spots being a little bit, further back from where the safe spot would be in the natural. You normally have an overlord sitting here. Not quite the case on some of these new maps. So with this overlord being stuck all the way back here, overlord speed makes a lot of sense. Lambo needs to read what's going on. Because like I just said a moment ago, I think Lambo's a really smart guy. And if he gets to scout, he'll know how to adjust. He'll appropriately respond, or at least that's the plan. Death War is of course a little bit of a funny map, but Special setting out a lot of Hellions to the front lines. Nothing abnormal though. This is pretty standard poke. Where it gets a little strange for Special is that Raven. Lambo comes in with the Overlord. He confirms more of the Hellions. I think he's got a good idea of what's going on with a toss-up of being like it's either a Banshee or a Raven. But of course with Queens out on the field and Zerglings, hopefully this won't be too problematic for Lambo. I mean, both at high skill level and, lowly diamond, you'll see it. The odd game, Zerg player leaves their defenses open, Hellions run in, they get a lot of kills. And it's tough to watch. Unless you're the Terran player, then it's fun to watch. But Special's going for a third CC, and Lambo has scouted this. This means he knows there's 400 minerals going into not units. So he should be fairly comfortable knowing there's not some big, heavy all-in coming out of Special. And whatever he has to deal with is just like the early game. And with Overlord spread out really nice, he sees the angle of every single one of these attacks. There's no way for Special to get over here without being revealed. However, off to the start here with the Raven, second one's being built behind it, and we're going to probably see auto turret harass come down behind the mineral lines. Ravens are these tricky things where unless you're rushing out a Spire, which in fairness some Zerg players do, they're really hard to get rid of. And the auto turrets, you know, they're only going to grab like a kill here, maybe a queen there. It's very light damage, but it's something that's going to be going on for a long time in the game. The grenade splits the queens, the Hellions go roasting up the lanes. Lambo's trying to find a way to get on top of this without sacrificing too much. He handles the Hellions pretty appropriately to begin with. A couple of drones in the mix too, pulling these away. It sucks because there's still a lot of damage Special has to output. But of course, behind this, gotta bring attention back to this Raven, which will be dipping in and out, dropping auto turrets for as long as it's alive. And even if this auto turret doesn't get 4 or 5 drone kills, and it still grabs a couple, the reality is this denies mining. This is costly without it being so obvious. And I can actually show you on the income graph here in just a second what that looks like. But while the auto turrets are being handled, the Ravens, they're just sitting there biding their time, waiting for round 2, round 3, round 4. You can see here for Lambo, whenever he has to pull the drones off of mining, the income heavily starts favoring Special, who is moving on to his third as we speak. I'd say he's in a pretty comfortable position in this game. Double evolution chambers, we're going to see some upgrades come down. I mean, unless you see your opponent going something strange like mech, there's no real reason to speed to hive or do anything too weird. For Lambo, I really like the Spire for 2 reasons. One, to possibly deal with these Ravens, but also he's just really good at harassing with mutas. The auto turret gets a couple of shots in, pushes off the mining once again. Top side of the map too, Special's got his macro going. His upgrades are on the way. Lambo's a little behind in that regard, but the worst part is, again, with the income really being visible here, you know, when Lambo gets the mine, he's killing it. He's got so many drones, he's got a lot of bases, but every time he's pushed off of mining, it spikes back up because the difference is favoring Special. He's just mining uninterrupted, uncontested through all of this. Lambo, though, like I said, he's on a lot of bases. 4 bases, fantastic. But still, as long as there's Ravens kind of lurking in the back, there's always a bit of a threat. This Raven, I don't know, has taken a very far vacation to the middle of who knows where. Meanwhile, 2 drops start hitting out. And Lambo doesn't see this initially. And even off of creep, I mean, this many Banelings and Zerglings should be able to handle it. He does find it really early on. So he goes for the stim, tries to focus the Banes, realizes it isn't worth it. But while this goes on, the wall Special's microing over here. He does a flyby. He drops an auto turret. He sends the Raven up. And he's killed 2 queens with this up to this point. I mean, 9 drones too, but the queen's gonna hurt, especially because these Ravens are simply not dying. I'll be able to keep using these the longer the game goes on too. In the meantime, back at home, Armory, we're going to see those upgrades continue. Special has quite a good army supply going for him. I think a lot of the time, Zerg typically gets really far ahead, and then they throw bodies at you until they run out of money. Terran plays cost efficiently. Like, that's the nature of TVZ in general. But with the constant mining denying from these auto turrets, like I can't begin to express just how expensive this is for Lambo. Somebody who would otherwise just be killing it on the income graph. Without that extra money to throw at Special, it's going to be really tough to fight these Marines, which, well, I guess they won't have the upgrade lead for the fight, but, you know, 1-1 versus 1-1. And unfortunately, the mutas are, as you can see, joining the army at home, patrolling around. They're not over here harassing the SCVs. They're not picking off reactors, which Lambo, you know, he would love to be doing in this situation. But oh, there's a odd drone in the mix. Bit of a misclick. There he goes, puts it back. Oh, this is a really cool Warchest Team League logo for the logos mod. Actually, that's been really cool to see. I've had that on my UI while we've been casting the games too. But, you know, pretend like it's the first time you've ever seen it. Oh my God, it's so cool. My only regret is that we don't have our super sweet actual team logos in game, but that's another story for another time. The auto turrets continue to be a problem. This Raven's up to like 7 kills. I mean, it's been pretty worth the cost. You don't usually see Ravens involved in TVZ like this, but when it works, it works. Muta's not pushing them off because they're forced to respond over here. Lambo needs to pick off those tanks so his banelings have a way to get into the fight. He's got 23 banelings. That's a lot of banelings to work with, sure, but if they get popped off by those tanks, it's not gonna matter. You can see him fully converging though from multiple angles. Mutas go in, diving for the tanks, but they gotta go through the Marines. Banelings from the top side look great as they roll on in. A bit of a surprise flank, but those tanks do big damage and the Marines are way too good to fight. Lambo runs out of so much of his army. Now he's replacing a lot of it. 20 more banelings are on the way. 30 Zerglings being hatched as we speak, but Special is not giving him a moment to breathe. No chance to make those banelings. Zerglings run in only to die. The hold from the Marines is good and Special pushes forward. At this point in the game, I'm supposed to be grimacing and wincing for my player, but I gotta respect the plays where they are. Special ends up getting cleaned up here, but this was attack wave 1 out of 2. He's already rallied the next round forward. He kills a hatchery down to the south where this goes on, not to mention that's the Evo chambers, and that's gonna be GG for game 1 in the series.